Hey guys, welcome to my kitchen. Another big exciting day in my kitchen. Where are we going? What are we making? I think I'm gonna take all of you guys to the island of Capri. And that's important because this recipe, Torta Caprese, flourless chocolate cake with nuts, was actually made famous on the island of Capri. At least so legend says. There's a mafia story, there's a queen story. Some people say it was deliberate, some people say it was by accident. I don't know, doesn't really matter. All I know is it's delicious. We're making it today and we're gonna have some fun. Okay, so let's start going over ingredients. I've got some special tips here that are gonna make this cake so delicious. And your friends are gonna go, I've had this before, but it's never tasted this good. First ingredient you're gonna need, 12 tablespoons of butter. Room temperature would be perfect. Now, ideally you wanna go with non-salted butter. If you don't have non-salted butter, guys, don't panic, just use salted butter, but definitely don't add any salt. Next, guys, we're gonna need eggs. That's a huge part of this recipe. Now remember, this recipe doesn't have any flour in it. It's a flourless cake, so we have to add leavening agent. So we're gonna actually use eggs, and I'll show you exactly how to do that. So we've got 5 whole eggs. We're gonna separate those eggs into the yolks and the whites. Remember, this is a dolce, it's a cake. We gotta add some sweetener, we gotta add some sugar. So I'm gonna add 1 cup of granulated sugar. We're gonna add that 1 cup of sugar in different parts of the cake as we put it together. So just keep that in mind. So I've got it in a container, a measuring cup, so it's gonna be easy to dispense throughout the making of the recipe, okay? Another little tip, another little trick from a Nona that I got was they add some brown sugar. So I've got 2 tablespoons of brown sugar, which has got that molasses in there. And that molasses is it's that deepened, caramelized, rich, velvety flavor that goes so well, it pairs so well with chocolate. Now we're gonna need some chocolate, right? We're gonna need some cacao. So in chocolate, we want bittersweet chocolate, and we're gonna use about 6 ounces. So whether you wanna use chocolate chips, which is fine, I've got a chocolate bar. In this case, we're gonna want something about 60% chocolate. Now you're thinking, how can we add to the chocolate flavor? We're gonna add 2 tablespoons of cocoa powder. Oh, you know, you've got this chocolate, which is deep and dense, and then you got that, the aroma of the bittersweet, that is perfect. So 2 tablespoons of cocoa powder, and then I'm thinking, how can I make it even richer? Another little trick, another tip from a Nona that I want to share with you, and that's this right here. That's 1 ounce of espresso. Now here's the deal. You're not gonna taste the coffee, I promise you. But what coffee does is it greatly enhances to the depth and richness and intensity of the chocolate flavor, which is gonna give your cake some intensity of chocolate. Again, somebody's gonna go, this is the same cake, but yet it's not the same. It tastes phenomenal. And you're gonna go, yeah, hello, learned it from Cooking Italian with Joe. He learned it from the Nonas. That's why it's great, and I'm not gonna give you the recipe, or I could give you the recipe, but then I'd have to kill you. If you want to go full out 007 on them, you can do that. All right, I digress back to the recipe. Now we got to go with nuts. So most commonly and authentically, this is served with almonds. So you're going to want ground almonds typically is how it's served. Now here's what I love. I like to take the almonds, and I've got 1 cup of whole almonds, and I've got 1 cup of whole walnuts. Why? Because when I chop them in the food processor over here, I don't want them all to be powdered. I don't want them all to be exactly the same size. Like, I like that imperfection. I like getting a nugget of almond to chew on or another nugget of walnut to chew on. I want that imperfection, if you will, because it's in the imperfection that I find perfection in Italian cooking. Next, guys, you're gonna need lemon. Now, why am I using the lemon? I'm gonna use a little bit of juice from the lemon. Little trick from the Nonas, I'm gonna use a little zest, like a breath of it, like 2 or 3 swipes of it, and I'm gonna add it to my egg whites. Now, why am I using the lemon juice? By adding a little bit of lemon juice, a little bit of the citric acid, it'll stabilize the egg white. It'll make the cake a little bit more tender, more delicious, certainly on the palate. We're gonna need some salt. Today I'm using pink Himalayan. I like pink Himalayan, it's earthy, briny. Pink is sexy, and this cake is sexy, so we're adding some sexiness salt to it. I don't know what that means, but I'm going with it. Next, guys, we're gonna use some vanilla. We're gonna use 1 teaspoon of a really good high-quality vanilla. Has anyone had that experience when you were a little kid where you take the aroma of the vanilla, and you're like, oh my gosh, that's so delicious, and then you taste it and it's absolutely disgusting. It's at that moment you realize how important sugar is, isn't it? And talking about sugar, we're gonna need some powdered sugar. And this cake is a dolce, it's a dessert, and it's gonna be served with sugar, and it's authentically served with powdered sugar sprinkled across the top. Next, guys, we're gonna need olive oil. And actually, olive oil does not go in this dish, but if it did go in this dish, because it's from Italy and it's delicious, you're gonna want an authentic extra virgin olive oil, and I'm trying to think where I would go to get that. I know a guy, Joe Borio, owns a villa in Vico del Gargano, Puglia, Italy, just above the heel, and he co-ops with a whole group of farms to bring you some of the best olive oil in the world, and he's so in love with his two sons, he named the company after them. So Vito and Joe, those are the name of my two boys. And listen, guys, we make some of the best extra virgin olive oil you could ever have. I know what you're thinking. You'd love to get it. Hit the link above or below. Go to my web page, Cooking Italian with Joe, or my Facebook page, Cooking Italian with Joe. Click buy it now. Grab yourself a few bottles. We literally will drop ship it right to your front doorstep. And when I look at that, guys, it's like taking a trip to Italy right in a bottle. Couple of more things. Get your oven preheated 325 degrees and open up that middle rack. That's gonna be important. I want a pot with some boiling water because I'm gonna make a double boiler here so that I can gently melt my chocolate and I can melt my butter. I'm gonna need some kind of a blender, in this case with a whisk, because I'm gonna whip up my eggs, both my yolks and my egg whites. I'm gonna want a cookie sheet, 9-inch or so springform pan, and a little trick to share, guys, certainly not my idea, but a great idea. We're gonna take some parchment paper, we're gonna put that right in the bottom of that springform pan, and I'm gonna tell you what, that way the cake will come out, it won't stick, nothing will break. All right, what do you say? Let's get cooking. I'll meet you guys over at the stove. Real easy, guys. I got 2 inches of boiling water in the bottom of a pan. I'm gonna take a glass bowl, pop it right in there. We're gonna do this, that way we can't overheat the chocolate, we won't burn it, and we won't break it. Now, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and throw my chocolate in the bowl. At the same time, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and put my butter in. I'm gonna put my teaspoon of vanilla in. I'm gonna put my 1 ounce of espresso coffee in, and I'm gonna take my 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. And now I'm gonna let that melt for a minute. While that's melting, guys, I'm gonna take my nuts. I'm gonna take my walnuts. I'm gonna take my almonds. I'm gonna put them in the food processor. So I'm gonna go ahead and hit this with some pulses. And that's exactly what I want. You guys see how there's little pieces of nuts in there? And everything's a little different size. That's just perfect. Next, guys, I'm gonna separate my eggs into the yolks, into the whites. Easiest way to do it, just take an egg at room temperature. You're gonna tap it on the side. General rules, if you hit it this way, you'll tend to put more shell. It makes more work. Secondly, I always like to do it in a clear glass. That way, if I get any shell in it, it's really easy to see. So just go ahead and give it a tap. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and put my whites in one dish. Oh, look at that one. I got 2 in there. That's got to mean good luck for something, right? So I've got my egg whites in this dish. I'm going to put my yolks in that one. Okay, my egg whites and egg yolks are separate. Let's start whipping our egg whites. Just throw your egg whites right in there. As soon as this starts to foam up, I'm going to go ahead and add my sugar, but I'm going to only add half of it slowly. And as that's whipping, I'm going to go ahead and take my lemon, and I'm just going to do 3 or 4 swipes of the lemon to get some zest. Oh, the aroma there is perfect. And guys, then I'm gonna take half the lemon, and as that's whipping up, I'm gonna go ahead and put some lemon juice right in there. Putting in about a tablespoon of that lemon juice. What I'm looking for here is a firm peak. See how there's a firm peak? It's holding its shape. So clean out those whites as best as you can. Next, guys, I'm gonna do my yolks. Same thing, we're gonna whip these up, and then I'm gonna go ahead and dump all my sugar in. I can dump it in all at once in this case. I'm gonna go ahead and whip this, guys, for about 4 to 5 minutes. It's gonna be very creamy, almost pale yellow. Okay, our chocolate mixture is done. Perfect, I'm gonna shut the heat off, and now I want this to cool. You guys see the egg yolks? They don't even look like egg yolks anymore, right? And see how beautiful and creamy and light they are? Now when I pull this off the heat, that chocolate mixture, I'm gonna go ahead and take my cocoa powder and really slowly mix it in my chocolate. Okay, everything's mixed really well. So I'm gonna go ahead and set this aside, let the temperature come down on a little bit, and right about room temp, maybe a little bit warmer is fine. I'm gonna go ahead and add my nuts. Guys, it's been a few minutes. This is about room temp, and now I'm gonna go ahead and add my nuts to the chocolate mixture. See all those beautiful pieces, all different shapes and sizes? Oh, that's good. Okay, a couple of really important tips for everybody. I need the temperature on this down to room temperature, maybe a little bit warmer, but I don't want this hot when I start folding in everything. Secondly, we're gonna start folding in ingredients. So I've got egg whites, and I've got my egg yolks. We're just gonna fold it, what's called folding. We're gonna fold it in, that way we retain some of the air that we've created, and that way the cake won't be just a big hockey puck. It's gonna have some leavening in it, yet it's gonna be rich and fudgy and chocolatey and nutty, and I could just mix this and eat it raw like the inside of a lava chocolate cake. That's kind of where we're going right now. Another really important tip to make this come out molto deleccio, you gotta hit that subscribe button, the thumbs up, and the notification bell. That way anything we got going on the farm, any new recipes, any new trips, blogging with Boreal, all that'll come to your notification box. And like I tell you guys every week, it really means the world to me when you subscribe to our channel. You know, it makes you part of a growing family of people that really appreciate Italian cooking and recipes and stories, and certainly taking trips. And a huge shout out to our subscribers and our family out there right now. It means the world to me. I love the comments, and I love the conversations, and knowing some of the stories that we all share. I think it just brings us closer together, no doubt. First thing I'm gonna do is get my egg yolks right inside the mixture. Just take your spatula, come out to the outside, and just bring it right in. So out to the outside and spin it right in, nice and gentle. And I'm going for something that's almost the same color throughout. So maybe a minute tops. Next, we're gonna add our egg whites. I don't need to add all the egg whites at once. So I'm gonna add about 1/3 of the whites in. You can tell the mixture really starts to loosen up. We're going for something around the same color, close to it. Next third. And guys, because we added the lemon into the egg whites, they're gonna be a lot more stable. So they'll hold up really well when you fold it and then when you bake it. And guys, last third of our egg whites. See our consistency, how it's all about the same color? Guys, I've wiped the pan on the outside, the bottom, and on top of the parchment paper with some Vito and Joe's olive oil. That way nothing will stick. And now I'm gonna go ahead and pour my batter right inside my pan. And guys, that is absolutely perfect. And I'm gonna put it on a tray just to prevent any spillage or any type of catastrophe that could potentially happen. And now I'm gonna go ahead and put it in the oven, middle rack, 325. We're gonna leave it in for at least 50 minutes. And what I'm looking for is a knife test. I'm gonna stick a toothpick or a knife in, and I want it to show a little bit of like a wet crumb on there, but I don't want it dry and I don't want it wet. Talk to you guys in 50 minutes. So it was about 60 minutes to finish the cake. I set it up on the counter for about an hour just to bring it down to room temperature, and it's right about where I want it right now. And I'll tell you, before I bring in and zoom in, the aroma in the kitchen, I mean, when you talk about chocolate, it has like a depth, a richness to the aroma. Oh, first thing I want to do here is I want to open this up. Just go slow, just to make sure, because you don't want to break the outside of the cake. How beautiful is that? Isn't that delicious? Finishing this cake off, guys, they're always going to finish it off with powdered sugar. Like, I don't know that I've seen it any other way. So I've got my powdered sugar, and sometimes it's fun to do a little design, so you can just hit it with powdered sugar. That's great. And I'm just going to take my powdered sugar, I'm going to put it right through my strainer here, and then I'm just going to go ahead and hit it. Isn't that delicious? How beautiful does that look, huh, guys? Guys, you know it. Favorite time, taste time. So I want to use a nice, thin, sharp knife. That's always a better way to get it out. It's thin, it's sharp, doesn't have a high profile on it. So simple, guys, just give yourself a gentle cut. I want it to be flaky and fudgy at the same time. Does that look delicious, you guys? I'll tell you, just the aroma of the nuts and the chocolate, oh boy, that's good. You ready? Here you go. Taste-o-vision, smell-o-vision, cooking Italian with Joe style. Oh, the aroma. And I love the powdered sugar. You know, it's a dolce. So one of the things I always talk about is the first flavor in your mouth should be a sweetness. The nuts, the chocolate is so intense. It's fudgy, it's gooey, but it's light. I gotta do one more. And what I love right now are the nuts, because they're all a different shape and size, and they give you that crunch, and I just love that. And the brown sugar and the vanilla and the coffee, and you don't even get the coffee, but you can just feel the sweetness in the depths of the chocolate. Who needs flour, huh? Now that is the appropriate way to visit the island of Capri in Italy. Isn't that delicious? Hey guys, thanks so much for joining me in my kitchen this week. What a fantastic recipe. Remember, in closing, click that subscribe button. You gotta give me a thumbs up, share our videos, and hit that notification bell. That way you're the first one notified anything we got going on the farm or with our blog and with any new recipes with Cooking Italian with Joe. Other important tip is grabbing yourself a few bottles of Vito and Joe's extra virgin olive oil. Certainly a trip to Italy right in a bottle. Make sure you hit the link above or below, or visit us on Facebook, Cooking Italian with Joe. And last and most important, guys, in fact, the reason I do my videos, I want you to, a couple of times a month, get around the table with your family, tell stories, make some of these recipes, make some of your own recipes. You know what? Celebrate your heritage. And I'll tell you, most importantly, guys, set some traditions for you and your family. They're gonna last you a lifetime. I know they did for me. Hey guys, from my kitchen to yours, until next week, mwah, buon appetito.